Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. We're continuing to work on the Cub Cadet bush hog project. This is a 1972 Cub Cadet, model 128. It's gear drive. It has a rear PTO. Pretty unusual for these tractors, but a number of them were built in the factory with a rear PTO. So in order to get a bush hog working on this tractor, need to add the 3-point hitch, and this is a category 1 3-point hitch, and a hydraulic system to operate that hitch. So we're pretty far along on both of those efforts. Actually, we finished the 3-point hitch last episode, and in this episode we're going to make some more progress on the hydraulic system. We've got the pump installed. We're getting ready to install the reservoir, filter, and cooler assembly, and then the next major component is the valve, the spool valves to operate the rear lift, and of course the hoses and the plumbing necessary to connect all that stuff together. So the hydraulic system is kind of the focus of this episode, and after we get that working, we'll jump right into building a bush hog or rotary cutter. I guess bush hog is actually a brand name. Anyway, so we're going to build a 4-foot rotary cutter for the back of this tractor, so that'd be fun to play with that. And right now I've got a little side project to take care of. The top link, I need to modify a top link. I used a top link from my Kubota BX23 tractor in putting this rear 3-point hitch together, and I went to buy a replacement, but I couldn't get the proper size for the pin size. So we're going to modify the one I did buy and make it usable for this tractor. So stick around for that. It's going to be interesting. All right, so this is the top link that I purchased. Of course, these thread in one right-hand thread, one left-hand thread. So I must have them reversed here. Let's try this. Here we go. So the problem with this top link is that it won't fit the tractor. These bores are 5/8, and I need 3/4. So I purchased a couple of weld-on swivel eyes. Oh, here comes, who's this? Oh, this is Butchie. You being my good boy. Yeah, there's my good Butchie. There's my Brutus. You want to sit? Sit. Sit. Give me the paw. Give me the paw. Give me that paw. Yeah. Oh, give me 2 paws. 2 paws, all right. All right, so these replacement swivel eyes need to be welded to these 2 threaded shafts. So we cut. So we're going to weld that together. I cut them both off, so I think they match up pretty well, but we need to bevel both sides of these pieces. All right, I've got this set up to weld. All right, so back the next day. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, almost looks like it came that way. How you like that? Guessed it on the first try. Because one of these is right hand threaded, which this one is. And the other end is left hand threaded. course, this, you can knock this through. It's got some little dimples on it, but the idea is you knock it through with a hammer and then it stays in there and you can use it to turn. All right, let's go put this on the tractor, see how it fits. All right, so this is the top link for my Kubota, and I don't want to give it up. So this is the one we just modified. Okay, so that's good. Let's see if this will. Yeah, that's moving it. That worked. Okay, I think I got them both started. Yep. All right, that's solidly mounted. Now let's see how high we need to raise the seat. Put a piece of rubber over the terminals so that I don't short circuit anything. All right, when we do like this, let's see. All right, so I'm looking at a 2-inch space there. So I think it'd be safe to raise it 2 inches. I mean, the brackets that bolt on here do raise it up some, but I think it's appropriate that the surface be level. Yeah, 2 inches, just under 2, like 1 7/8. So if we raise this surface 2 inches, we'll be good. All right, so the bottom of the seat is going to be level with the top edge of this. So we've got over 1 inch of clearance. All right, I think that'll work fine. I do need to put a couple of stops here. It's okay. It's okay. Butchie's barking because there's some landscapers working outside my neighbor's house. It's okay, Butchie. It's okay. It's okay, Butchie. It's okay. He's all upset because there's people outside. It's okay. It's okay. You say, Daddy, I want to go outside and bark at them. I want to go outside and bark at them. Sit. 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 I want to go outside and bark at them. I want to go outside and bark at them. Come here. You're saying, Butchie likes to bark. So do I. Yeah, you're a good boy too. You're both good puppies. Yeah. I got them locked in the shop here because they were making a lot of noise outside. I mean, it's not that they're bothering anybody because I just have the one neighbor. He's not here a lot of the time. And he has a lawn care crew come and do periodic stuff. So they're out there blowing leaves. So they can't hear him barking anyway. I mean, it's not like the dogs are disturbing anybody because they're out there running a leaf blower. They can't hear them barking anyway. So, but it's a little annoying. We try not to let the dogs bark. Certainly at night, when it's, they go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. Don't want to disturb the neighbors. There are neighbors across the river that would be able to hear them bark. I mean, it'd be off in the distance, but they would still hear them. And so, and we have other neighbors about a quarter mile back through the woods behind us, so they might hear them bark too. So we try to keep them indoors so they don't do that, or teach them not to bark, which is a little bit of a challenge. So I think I'm going to just drill a hole in each of these Maybe I could do the 2 holes like that, same way. All right, nothing critical about dimensions here. I'm going to put 2 holes 1.5 inches apart. I just found the center, roughly found the center. I've come over 3/4 of an inch. Actually, since I moved from the center, this should work too. This is the proper paint to use on these old Cub Cadets. This is International Harvester. There's the UPC part number. Pre-1975 Federal Yellow. So this paint is expensive. It's like $20 a can, but it covers better and is more durable than most of the paints that you can buy. Whatever you do, don't buy any paint from Tractor Supply. Their magic paints take forever to dry and are pretty crummy. So this is the proper yellow paint to purchase for the old Cub Cadets. You may have to order it online or get it through your local International Harvester, Case International Harvester dealer. And then I'll give you the white paint. This is the white paint. It's off-white, obviously. There's a part number. Order it through your International Case dealer. Again, this is the best paint. 69 to 81, 935 white. It's an almond color. All right, so I've been looking at the best place to mount this valve block. I mean, unfortunately, it's pretty heavy. I'm going to say it weighs maybe 10 pounds. I mean, it's a big chunk of cast iron. So, I'm thinking the best place, since I've got the clutch control over here and the brake pedal and the clutch, I'm thinking the best place is probably right here. It won't interfere with the hood latch is right there. I would like to sit in the seat and just make sure I didn't have any interference, but I don't think I will. And that would be a lot shorter, which would make strength not nearly as much of an issue. 4.5. I think I'm going to try that. Okay, here we are in Fusion 360. I just want to take a few minutes to show you how I create objects to cut out on the plasma table. And this is the personal non-commercial version, which you can get for free. You can download it. And that's what I have done. So this is the opening screen. We're going to, first thing we do is we're going to create a sketch of the object that we want to create. And up here in the right hand corner I pick the front face, which gives me XY axes. So that's where I'm going to start my sketch. And we're building this plate for mounting the valves. And I know that I want it to be 5 inches wide. So I can go into the data field and enter 5 inches. Tab to the other data field and enter 7 inches. And hit enter, and that draws the rectangle of 7 inches. I could just as easily have dragged the corners to that dimension, but getting them both, to the exact number, is a little tricky. But entering the data is an easy way to do it, and something you want to learn how to do quickly. I'm going to use construction lines, which is keyboard L and then keyboard X, which allows me to create these dashed lines which do not show or affect the project that I'm building at all, but do give me the ability to draw lines for reference purposes. I'm going to draw, I drew one down the center line. I'm going to draw another one at 1 inch, and then I'm going to draw another one at 4 inches, enter 4, and then this one at 4 inches is my is 5 inches down from the top, so that'll be my bend line. So I'll do another, just a construction line here, so that's where we're going to bend this plate. And the top half is going to have some holes in it for the valve, and the bottom half is going to have, or bottom portion is going to have the holes to bolt it to the underside of the reservoir mount tank bottom plate. Up at the top, I need some holes that are, and actually I don't want this 1 inch, I want this 7.75, 3/4 of an inch. And then this one needs to be 4.25. I do want this line down here to be 5 inches from the top. At the 3/4 of an inch point, I'm going to create a couple of holes for the valve, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw construction lines. I want the holes will be on that line, and then 3 3/4 by 3.75, 3 3/4 down, and that'll be my other line for the other holes. The holes on the valve are 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. So, all right. So at this point, I need to come out. This is going to be here, 2 holes here and here, 3 1/4 inches apart. I'm going to go ahead and do a construction line over 1.625. That's half of 3 1/4. And then another line, and we'll just verify that. We'll go 3 1/4 back from there, 3.25. Alright, so it gives me another point. So these are the 2 points for the top 2 holes in the valve plate. And 0.425. So that's a clearance hole for a 3/8 inch bolt. 0.425, 3/8 inch bolt being 0.375. Alright, so I can convert these to real lines, and you see it creates holes there. And to come down to the next line, which is here, which we said was 3.75 inches down. So let's draw a line. We draw a line straight down from this point to intersect that line, and do another one over here. Okay, so these are our 2 intersections. So another 0.425, and then another one over here, 0.425, and we can select that, hit X, turns it into a real line. So there's our bolt arrangement for the valve bolts, the bolt, not bolt circle, but bolt arrangement on this rectangle, 4 1/4 apart by 4 3/4 high. So now down at the bottom, we're going to fold this under the bottom plate, and the holes on the bottom plate are 1 inch in from the edge. So I'm going to draw a line 1 1/4 inches, 1.25 down, because I don't want to be, you know, right on the edge, because if the bend will take up some of that space. So again, I'm going to draw lines left and right here. Click. And let me try that again. There we go. Okay, so now the holes there are 3 1/2 inches on center. So, okay, so I need to draw, I'm going to draw construction lines half of 3 1/2, so 1.75, and I'll do another line 3 1/2 over this way, 3.5. So that looks right. So that gives me the spacing for the 2 holes that will use the bolts that are in the bottom plate and bolt the tank to the plate. So those are 5/16 bolts, and which is 0.3125, something like that. So I'm going to make them like 0.35. There we go. And draw another one over here at 0.35. And we'll convert them to lines. The last thing I want to do is put a couple of little notches in the side of the plate so that they give me an indication of where to make the bend. Alright, so there's one notch. We'll go over to the other side. And again, I'm just drawing lines. These are initially construction lines, and then convert them to real lines. So that's my plate. I'm going to do one other thing here up at the top. I want to radius these corners, small radius. Let me turn that to there. All right. So you pick the radius tool up here, and then pick the 2 sides that you want radius, and then there's a data field where you can type in the radius that you want. And again, it's all construction lines, so I change them back to real lines. So that eliminates any sharp corner up there. Might as well do the same down at the bottom. I'm not concerned because it's going to be under the other plate, but you know, it's just a little nice. Doesn't cost any more to do this, and kind of gives a little finished look to the. All right. So that's my sketch, and you can see the series of holes. Now this is just a plane. It's just a surface with no thickness, and we would like to create some thickness to it. So we take the press pull, which is basically just extrude. We select the surface we want to extrude, give it a thickness, and I'm going to go minus 0.25. So I'm going to push it backwards, and then we can turn it around. You can see that it has some thickness here. So now it's considered a body, And that's basically what we want. We got the notches here for the bend and valve plate, valve holes, bolt holes for the valve, and bolt holes for the bolting this plate to the bottom of the tank plate. So now in the upper left hand corner we go to manufacture, and let's change our dimensions. I always have to do this. I don't know why. There may be a way to set it to default. Set as default. There we go. Okay. Then going to create a setup, and a setup just tells you that you're using a cutting tool. Create a origin on the stock. You can add additional stock. We're not going to add any additional stock. So we're at 5 by 7 by 1/4 of an inch. So that's okay. And then in the cutting option, we can select 2D profile. So here's where we're going to create a tool path. We first need to select the tool we're going to use. In the local library, there is the Crossfire Pro tool, which basically just tells you the nozzle diameter, kerf width, head clearance, plasma cutter, stuff like that. It tells you what you're dealing with. And in this case, it's defaulted to 40 inches per minute as the cut speed, which is appropriate for 1/4 inch plate, which is what we're going to use. Now the geometry, we're selecting the face contour that we're going to cut out, and that looks correct. And so all we got to do is hit OK, and it creates a tool path. I like to go into the simulation program and run the simulation, so it just shows what it's going to cut out. This large circle that's going around with the yellow center is the diameter of the tool head. And so if you have things that are protruding from here, you just make sure that this shows this, so it shows the path the tool head, the torch head makes, in case there's an interference with, something which is taller in the middle, so avoid collisions. All right, that looked good, so we'll close the simulation and post the G code, and we're going to call it bush hog valve plate. Pierce delay is 1.5. Different thicknesses require that to be changed. 1.8 for 3/8 of an inch, 1.2 for 3/16, 1.0 for 1/8 of an inch. And since that looks good, so we're going to post it. And it says overwrite the following files. I'm going to do, looks like I had one of that name. All right, so that's all we need to do here. Let's go over to fire control and pull in the valve plate. So there it is. So that's what we need. We can run this on the plasma table, take it over to the press, make the bend, and see if we can fit this up. All right, we'll go ahead and tighten up these bolts. I don't have the fender bolted on yet because I'm still may need to take it off. Run the hydraulic lines, I think I'm definitely going to need to take it off. All right, I'm going to set the seat on here temporarily. I think that'll be fine in terms of the valve position. Not a whole lot of room, but I think there's enough. Okay, I think that's fine. There's, 6 inches of clearance there. All right, so that's good. It's funny, a socket won't even fit on there. Oh, that's good and solid. Would almost rather have this higher and further that way, but then it starts to interfere with the hood latch and the PTO clutch. And this is not ideal, but I mean, it's not uncomfortable. Doesn't. Well, I'm going to have hoses coming out of here. They're going to take up 2 inches. All right, it's going to be a problem. We got to revisit this, I think. I think I need to move this up a couple inches, forward and out. Like 2 inches up, an inch out, inch forward, because I'm going to have hoses coming out of here. So there are going to be a bunch of hose connections here. All these red caps will have angle fittings like this. Perhaps even have hoses coming out of these two, but maybe from the outside here and over here. So basically I put a right angle fitting on right here. This is going to be close to my leg. I think it warrants a revisit. I think I need to move it. We need to move it out, we need to move it up, and we need to move it that way. So I probably need to even move this, if I move this tank forward, I can move the tank forward at least half an inch. Every little bit will help here. Maybe could move the whole. Nope, don't have much room. Okay, so kind of back myself into a corner here, which is what happens when you winging it. And that would work, but that might not be very comfortable. Okay, I need to revisit this. All right, guys, that's all the time we have this week. Run into a roadblock here, and my initial positioning of the valve block doesn't look like it's going to work. I mean, it could work, but it's minimally ergonomic, too close to my legs, and not really easily in. Handles are not really easily in reach, so it needs to be moved. So I'm going to noodle on that for a couple days. We'll come back next episode fixing that problem and measuring for hydraulic hoses, hopefully get them made, and then get the hydraulic system up and running. We have to hook up the cylinders, the pump, the reservoir, and the valve block. So there's a lot of plumbing to do, but we'll get it done. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.